Hold on a sec. Thank you for being so patient. Very kind. Ah, shit. Let's see if we can get rid of the buzz. It's not too bad, is it? But it's there. Well, so this is like January 31st, 1981. And bus is gone. That's weird. And I had a date tonight. I've started school, by the way. I've been going to since last week. As Monday it started. It's weird because I went to school Friday. Okay, last week, the Friday before that week, I went to late registration to apply for courses, to register for courses, for classes. And I got there, and there's this enormous line, and you walk in. The first thing is in the student center, and the first thing is there's a desk there, and you pick up some forms or something. And then I realized that you had to have your money there with you to pay for your courses. So I had to run home. I called up first, I called up. Mom and Dad were working, and Nana was home. So I told her my problem, and I asked her if she can give me a check that Mom and Dad could reimburse her for. And she's sort of hesitant, like I was going to rip her off. And I told her the whole situation, and so it was cool. So I went home, got a check, and said, yes, I will tell you the amount when I get back. I will definitely let you know how much it was. And then I came back to school. So it was an hour going back home, or half hour going back, and then half hour coming to school again. And then I waited in line for about 45 minutes. And I went through this, then that, and the other thing, and all this bullshit that lasted for about 3 or 4 hours. And then I left, I'd registered and everything, and I left. And then I realized that I didn't find out when classes started. So I called, when I got home, I called up the school, and I found out they started Monday. So that meant I had to tell my boss I was working part-time from now on, and that I had to get books and the whole bit, and I had no money saved up because, of course, I partied it away, always. So I went back, started school Monday of last week, and this is the end of the second week. So far, it's going pretty good. I've handed in a thing to my creative writing professor, and it was written the day that I got thrown out of my house, which is 3 days before Christmas of 1980, because my mother searched my wallet and found a pack of rolling papers. And they've found marijuana paraphernalia many times before. 4 times, I think, 5 times. And I told them that of course I told them I'd stopped every time they find that. I say, well, I'm not smoking anymore. And so that happened, and my mother told my father. And the reason she searched my wallet was because I was acting suspicious, I've been cracking, a little bit before that. And I think I was coming down, and Cameron's acting kind of weird. So she went, and that whole thing happened. And let's see. So I was thrown out, and I came back. I'm in school now, and the creative writing, yes, of course. So I wrote all this shit down, that night that I got thrown out. I knew it was coming back again. It was obvious from the tone of the thing. So I left, fuck it attitude. I just took off. We're going to say, I don't know, I'll find a place. And so I went over to Mark's, and I crashed out there for a couple of days, I think the next day I called up, and my father said that he had reconsidered. No, he called me at work. Said he'd reconsidered. Are you going to be home tonight? And I said yes, and I don't think I showed up. I'm not sure now. Anyway, so I stayed there for a couple of days and had a good time. Then I moved back in the house the day before Christmas. And so that happened. So I handed this thing in, and I wrote a lot of shit down that night when I wrote about it, when it happened. And I decided to hand it into class for creative writing. And this is like a Wednesday that I handed it in. And then Friday is the workshop that we have, where he will take the better things, I guess, out of the class. And he, mimeographs them, and then he hands out copies to everybody, and the author has to read them to the class. And he did like 4 of them the other day. And as we walked in, he handed everything out, and the original copies, he handed them back to everybody. And the last one was mine. He didn't know whose it was because when I had written it, I'd signed it with my sign. I didn't write my name down. And I just gave him that copy and not realizing my name wasn't on there. And so he gave it to me. And, he didn't give it to me. And I had this thing here, and it says, it looks like a carving or something like that. And I said, oh, it's probably mine. I recognized the sheet when he was holding it up. And then he said, I wrote something on there, I'd like to have a chance to talk to you about this. I'd like to say a lot more about it. And what he wrote on it was that it sounded very intelligent, he said. It was intelligent, a lot of strong points in it and stuff like that. Hold on, I'll get it and I'll read exactly what he said. Just if you have patience, just wait there, right? Don't turn the dial, nothing like that, I'm serious. I'm going to be right back. I just have to run into my room. I'll even turn you off for a second so that I'll take a few minutes to get it, but it won't matter to you at all because, the thing won't be running. So, like, you'll hear just a jump, and then I'll just come right back again. I'll start reading. So if you can just hold on that's about a 3/4 of a second, then I'll be right back. Oh, wouldn't you freaking know it? The notebook's in my car, and I don't feel like going out there. But he wrote down that it was very intelligent and powerful, and it should be framed, and he'd like to see this done to it. But the content, it seemed, he enjoyed very much. And as he handed it back to me, he told me that he wanted to talk a lot more about it, and he would have mimeographed it, except that the writing was not printing on the mimeograph machine. And it's a little bit long, so he couldn't do it. And it's very personal, but it's very good. And I don't know. I guess I should have it typed up and have him, do it. So anyway, that was really good. And I've only got 2 books out of, I think, 5 or 6 that I need, because I have no money. I was foolish, I spent it all. And I spent it before I knew I was going back to school so quickly. There's a girl, Patty, that, here we go, with the chicks again, of course, always with the chicks. That's the guys kind of a thing. Most guys, not all guys, I'm in theater, and I know that with some guys, the chicks is not the thing at all. It's other guys, unfortunately. And every now and then I tend to be chosen to be one of those other guys. And that's when I get very paranoid, and I start thinking I look like a faggot, and I grow a beard, and I act very macho for a few weeks. So, when I was in before, there was a girl, Patty, I always kind of got into. I kind of liked her, and I didn't really know her. I didn't talk to her or nothing like that, but I admired her from a distance, kind of a thing. And she was in the stage crew. Anyway, so I had thought about asking her out, and those days I was a little bit quiet. I didn't really ask her out, or anybody else for that matter. I just sort of fell into things. And so in creative writing the first day, a girl named Colette that I knew came in. I was talking to her, and I had also asked her out and couldn't get a hold of her or something. I forget what happened last time that I was there. So anyway, so she came, and I was talking to her, and I looked across the room, and I was like, Patty over there, And Colette and Patty know each other somewhat. And so I told Colette that I was thinking about asking Patty out before, and all this, and I think it went back to Patty. I think Patty heard the word, So that was last week. And then I finally asked her out. Today's Saturday. I asked her out yesterday after class. I walked to the student center with her, and I asked her out, and she said yes. And we saw a movie tonight. We saw No Nukes, which reminds me, nuclear energy is fucked up. Tap the sun, that is it. Forget the nuclear energy. It is, like they say, it's nothing but something to make money, It's a corporation kind of a thing. And it's going to screw us all over. But they're making money, and it's going to exist, and it's going to keep on going and going and going. So anyway, we saw that, and it was really good. And then we went to the Rathskeller. She asked me if I wanted to go. I said, yeah, okay. So we were there for a while, And I had no money, but so she paid for us to get in. She bought some drinks for us, which is nice. And then I walked her to her car, and I was making out with her for a couple minutes, for a good time. I like her. But she's been with a lot of married guys, and she doesn't stick with guys too for very long, But who knows? But I like her, and I had a good time. So that's really cool. And it's weird because I remember before, if I had made out with her, like if I had been kissing her like I had been tonight, then it would have been like, wow, it was like a dream almost, and all of a sudden, and it already happened, and I'm not gonna really think a whole lot about it. It's just what happened. So that's cool. I'm gonna hopefully see her again. I'm pretty sure I will. Sharon's gonna give me her apartment soon, I think. And that's another thing I just remembered. So like last night was a Friday night, and I was supposed to go over Carol's after work. Well, we had talked before about how... Oh, I gotta record this. This is great. Anyway. So, Super Bowl, I was over at Carol's. She works. She boots crack. She just cracked too. So I went over her place for the Super Bowl, and I watched the Super Bowl, and I wanted the Eagles, and of course they lost. And not because I wanted them, they just lost. Which is an of course thing because it's a part of history now. And had a good time, and I was give her a couple kisses good night. Yeah, it was nice. And before I had gone over that day, I'd said next Friday we have to get drunk together. And so next Friday was last night. I went over her house after work, and Frank was there. It's her old boyfriend who got her pregnant, and she's getting an abortion soon. And so Frank was there. I said, not going in there, man. That guy's crazy. He's a little bit weird. He flips out too easy. So I went over to Sharon's again, and I've been talking to Sharon at work. She's 31, I think, something like that. She's fat, and she's Jewish, and she's 31, and she's very insecure. And she gives me her apartment when she goes away. And she wanted to do something tonight, and so the Firehouse Bar. That's where I was talking about going, and so she wanted to come along, but she won't go alone because she went to bed with Richie, and Richie's wife and is there all the time, and she's really uptight, so she has to go with somebody. So I said, well, if Carol wants to go, then I'll come over and we'll pick you up. So I didn't go to Carol's, I went back to Sharon's, had a drink, bullshitted. Then we went to the Firehouse Bar. And she said she was going to get me drunk. She's always, messing around. She's just got the hots for me and shit. And so I figured, well, what the hell, I had to get drunk, so I got drunk. And so I went to bed with her last night. And it's sickening. She's ugly. Ugh. But it was alright. I mean, at least I got laid. And the thing with Patty tonight was really nice. And tomorrow I'm going to see Carol, I hope. I'd like to hang out with her tomorrow night, maybe, when I get out of work. I've got to take a piss, and I'll be right back. Everything came out all right. Yeah, I'm making this recording. I got the headphones on. I wonder if when I record on this thing, and I'm wearing the headphones, and I hear myself as I speak, it's like a loudspeaker in my, against my ear. That is, as I speak, it's going right there, and I can hear it perfectly. And I wonder if that makes me speak any differently than I would if I had been speaking without the headphones. I think it probably does. But anyway. There's another girl, Patty, that was at work. She's 17. And, no, she's 18 now, that's right. And I asked her out, and all of a sudden I was her boyfriend, and she's weird, so I didn't really, she just didn't do much for me, so. She's a virgin, too. Couldn't get nowhere with her. So, I just, instead of breaking up with her, just stopped seeing her. And then, this and that and the other thing. So let's see. I'm glad I'm back at school. I've been hearing these things, It's a really good feeling that I'm back at school. And I seem to be doing pretty good. Though I'm not really studying a whole lot. But I'm paying attention in class, which is nice. Always helps. So I came back before. It was about 12:30, and my parents' car was gone. I didn't know where the hell they were. I didn't know if they were going out or what. And I gave them a hard time when they came up. So I hit my dad's brandy, and I had a drink of that. So I'm feeling pretty good. And when they came home, my mom was a little bit drunk. It's funny. She's alright. They're both alright. And I was giving him a hard time. Where you kids been? The car was gone. I don't know where you were. And then I told my dad, I said, I wouldn't be awake right now if you had left a note. It's weird. I can't do the show this semester. I'm going to take the headphones off. It's kind of distracting. There. Now I can tell exactly how loud I'm talking. In respect to how much is traveling. It's hard to tell if your voice is carrying when you're wearing headphones because it carries very clearly when you're wearing headphones. You don't know if anybody else is hearing it. And so, hey, right on. Drugs. Last time I tripped was about 3 weeks ago. Last time I cranked was last Sunday night, I guess, or something. Maybe it was during the week. This guy, Paul, that lives upstairs from Mitch, he lives with like 3 other dudes. And they're all going to and they're freshmen, I think. He's pretty cool. And went over there one night, just to hang out, and I had done a down that Marie gave me at work. And it didn't really make me feel too good. And I got into night class. It was Tuesday night. Okay, Tuesday night. Gone to night class. And, wow, check that out. So I went to night school. And it was 7:30 to 10. And then I talked to people, but I was down. I didn't feel too good. So I came back and went to Mitch's for a little while, and I went upstairs and see what Paul was doing. Oh no, I went to Mitch's and Mitch said that Paul wanted me to stop up, so I did. And I was telling him I can get some crank, so he wanted to try some, so I got him a dime, which he paid for, and then he turned me and Mitch on. And he turned me on to a pretty good amount, and it kept me going pretty good for a while. And then about 4 o'clock I went home. I had to get up for class at 8:30. I got up. I should have got up at 8, but I got up at 8:30. And made it to my 9:30 class. I walked in late, and just as they were giving a quiz, I was in class. And I screwed up on the quiz, man. I just wasn't there. I fucked up in the quiz. No, it's only a quiz, so that's pretty good. That was only a quiz. And then I went to the green room in the theater building to lay down on the couch because I had a free period before I had to go to the next class. I laid down and I woke up about 45 minutes into my next class, so I never went. I woke up and it was just, oh shit, I stood up and found what time it was, and everything was hazy, And I got up and almost passed out because I got up in this rush, Combed my hair, looked like shit, and I just felt like shit, and I just didn't go to class. Being that late is just too much to go to class. And it's only held once a week as radio production. So I'm gonna, hopefully, I'll be there next Wednesday, but I have no gas, and I can't ask anybody for money anymore. It's crazy. So, I don't know what's gonna happen. So, things have been going pretty good, I've been getting laid pretty regular, between April and then Sharon last night. It's not too bad. It's nice. But Patty's gorgeous, man. To me, she is gorgeous. She's got like a female Robert Redford sort of cheeks, It's broad and just beautiful. She weighs about 92 pounds. She's about 5 foot. She says 5'1" or 5'2". I think she's about 5 feet. I was making out with her tonight. She's so small, It's beautiful. So that's good. And oh yeah, really. I was gonna say before. So that last entry, I don't know really where that was going. I had Grace Slick was on the TV, and I decided that I was gonna record that. Like I was watching this thing, and I just hit the channel. All of a sudden, it went to commercial, and before the commercial, they were saying, next John Travolta and Grace Slick. So I ran into my room, got my tape recorder, and brought it back out here. Hooked it up just as she was starting, and I didn't know where in the tape it was. I tried to get past my previous entry, but I guess I missed it. I also forgot I didn't have time to put the slow speed on. And so I recorded her, And that's, of course, Grace Slick from the Jefferson Airplane, later of the Jefferson Starship, and now who knows what. She's an alcoholic, and she's gone through 3 throat operations, and her voice sounds like a truck driver, but she can still sing, which is incredible. She's great. So, did that and shit, like, all right on. I've been feeling really good lately. About things in general, you know. And, tonight helped out a lot. Last night I danced my ass off. I go to the firehouse and, like, not too many people dance. They just dance a little bit. So I just go out there and I just wail. I just fuck around. I just spin and just walk all over the whole dance floor and do this and that. It's not much really dancing, but I have a good time. In the No Nukes thing tonight, they had Bruce Springsteen. You know, he was in it. And some of the shit that he does on stage is incredible. He's all over that fucking stage. And he's a short guy. He's a little dude, you know. I think he's Jewish. He looks kind of Jewish, you know. And he's just all over the damn place, man. He jumps up on the speakers and he jumps behind the drum sets up there, you know, dragging his cord behind him, and his guitar cord. And then he calls Clarence over, and Clarence comes up and jams with him on a sax, you know, and he just jumps over just in incredible. And at one point in the movie, he he was standing there and he did a really exhausting number. And at the end, he just kind of stood there and looked at the audience and he said, "I'm 30 years old. I can't be doing this anymore." And they just kind of looked and stared, and then just fell back and laid down on the stage, you know? And everybody came over like they're trying to wake him up. And just laid there for a long time, and then he finally got up. He had control of the whole thing. And then he got up, and then he just started jamming again with full intensity. Incredible. I could do that. I did it on the dance floor last night. And I could sing. He's not a good singer. He screams. He's loud. He's strong, and I could do the same shit. I got to do that one of these days. I blew my chance at school when I was at school. He wanted me to sing with him. I could have really gotten into it. I felt shitty that day, so I didn't do it. Stupid. I should have. So lately, I've been trying to get away from drugs in general because I can't afford them, and it's not really cool. You know, a little reefer here and there when it's offered, and drinking, of course. I have an addictive personality. That's always going to be with me. One of these days I'll straighten out, I think. I hope. And, of course, everybody says that, and they never do, but... Oh, you know, that's the way it goes. Man, that chick Patty is foxy looking, man. Oof. I should just talk to you and smile, and she's got it. And she told me she never stuck with a guy. She sticks with a guy for about 2 months, you know. So I'll have to remember that, I hope. But I definitely want to see her again. I'm going to start a thing with her, I hope. I think. We'll see. If not her, somebody else. So anyway. Oh, I'm going to get Sharon's apartment next weekend and ask Patty over. I think it's going to go pretty good. I think she'll come over. And she told me the one night stands are great. She's had a few of them. You know, one night stands. It's great being back at school. I can't wait till the first concert comes. I'm going to work on it. Well, that's weird. Bob Fosse said that he is torn between the feeling that he's great and nothing, you know. Half the time he feels that he's very godly, and then half of his life is plagued by the feeling that he is very insignificant, you know, and I feel the same way. I called Charlie the other night. I'd run into Faith. I was working, and Faith came in the store. And Faith and Greg I met through Shirley. And Faith is very close. It's like Shirley's best friend. And so I ran into Faith the other night. She was in the store with a sister and a sister's friend. And so... And she said, you know, you don't hang around anymore. So I went over there like on a night the other day, and then they were saying that Shirley isn't seeing anybody and all this, you know. So hey, all right. So then I called up and I went over there last weekend, one of those nights last weekend, and I called up Greg's house and he said that it wasn't doing that. I said, come over. He said, great, you know. So then I hung up and I called up Shirley and bullshitted with her for a while. She couldn't come over. She's going to a party. And I just kind of talked for a while, and also she said, oh, I have to go. Bye. All right, goodbye. It was weird. I don't think we're right for each other. I'd rather just mess around. So, that's that. I'm gonna rewind this and listen to it. I'm getting tired. So it's like a later on situation.